Yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Gaiden, the anime side story. I'm Steven.
I'm Sawhill.
And today we're going to talk about our regulars, Fire Force, a couple new episodes, as well as My Hero Vigilante, and finally, Gundam GQuuux. I hate geese. There was a whole thing about...
Dude, don't get me started on geese.
I mean, I went for a walk. Christina, Brendan, Sahar, and I, we went for a walk.
Did it hiss at the dogs?
And no, the dogs didn't come with us. I think Sahar's afraid of my dogs, to be honest, so I just kind of left them at home. But we were, as we were walking, we were sitting there eating lunch, and I talking about, I'm like, I love all animals. I'm such an animals person. You know that? I'm like, I will fuck a goose up.
Dude, every time I walk by a goose, I want to, knock in its fucking...
I fucking grill that goose down, buddy. I'm like, fucking come at me, bro. I'll stare you right down to your soul.
I have a bad memory of geese when I was younger. It attacked me and my cousin when we were at the zoo. And...
Yeah, you're worried about the lions, tigers, and bears. No, the geese.
Yeah.
But I will straight up kick a goose right in the fucking neck.
I saw a dead goose on the road a few months ago. Loki was a little happy. Usually when I see a dead animal, it makes me sad, but the goose, I was like, you had it coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Literally every other animal, love them to death. I remember being a little kid and just picking up a snake in the middle of the soccer field and just chilling with it. I don't care. It's just these little bastards.
Yes. And then anytime I'm walking my dog, it always hisses. It's like a part snake, I feel like. That's why why the hissing?
The best part is, I forget if it was Brennan or Sahar, but one of them were like, oh, I think that's just what animals are like and stuff like that. I'm like, no. Think about Japan and stuff like that, which is funny because we're on an anime channel. But anyway, think about Japan and stuff like that. You have the deer that bow and learn the customs and all these other things. I'm like, Canadians are known for being over appreciative and apologizing all the time. What the hell about a goose? If anything, a goose just became the bully to take advantage of us.
I can see Sahara's spirit animal being a goose.
I hope she doesn't watch this.
Don't tell her I said that.
I won't, but if you want to move to me.
She is definitely not watching this.
What if I just tell her to watch it because she came up? I won't tell her what you said.
No. I take back what I said.
It's been a bit of a crazy week or two here. Even this episode, we're recording a little bit late. So we apologize. We really are trying to get back on track. There's just quite a lot going on. Sahil over here might have a Niku allergy. So
yeah, I was in the emerge last night till 6 a.m.
Big baby. Oh
yeah, my throat is tightening up, and even right now, it's hard for me to talk loud. So if I'm quiet, I do apologize. I'm trying my best. Yeah, here we are. That's all that matters.
Yeah, before we get into our snack of the week, in terms of watching things, Christina and I finished Vinland Saga again. I feel like she was rewatching it. I really, I don't know if there's any news for season 3, but I'm just waiting. I don't want to read it because I want to experience it in this.
I am reading
the first time.
I might be a chapter or two behind, but it's really good.
It
definitely takes a different turn. I'm not going to get into that, obviously, but is that a booger on my nose?
Probably.
Sorry, guys. And then, yeah, it takes a different turn, but because it's still trying to remain historical and try to stay accurate to actual.
Well, yeah, and then there has to be the point where Leif Erikson and stuff like that, they'll travel to Vinland.
Yeah. I imagine that's probably going to be somewhere new.
Oh, that's got to be
very, very, yeah.
I hope that they do that's the last end, but they arrive there and they at least give us a couple episodes of them exploring or setting up camp or just being happy to be there. If they just if it ends with them just arriving there, I'm gonna be pissed.
I can tell you that is not the case. They do get there and there's some shit that goes on.
So okay, so they're already there, is what you're saying, which makes more sense. Okay, I wanted something to happen there. Past that, I don't think I mean, I've been watching some Moonrise, but I know we might dedicate an episode to that, so I don't want to go too much into that. And
not into that one yet.
Outside of anime, we watched Mayfair, which is season 1 in the EA.
I've been watching The Devil's Plan.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
I have, yes.
So for those who don't know, it's like Physical 100, but for smart people, except aside from physically active people. So it takes the first season actually takes Korea's smartest people, where the second season they don't focus on that as much. They'll take people in different fields, and they're still smart in their
they're high up in their field.
Yeah. And they give them tasks puzzles and games to solve and whatnot. And there's puzzles within the house they live in at the time and everything.
Okay,
it's really cool.
I think we should just dive right into the snacks and everything for this week. Let's get to it. Also, I got a new hat.
Yeah, it's Stephen D. Barber.
My initials are Stab. I think they're badass enough already, but I don't really need the D. I don't really need the D. Just ST.
You don't want the D?
No, I don't need the D. I'm okay. D dot, I'd be okay with.
All right, so we got Indonesian shrimp chips. This one I'm actually kind of looking forward to.
I don't know how I feel. I'm always iffy about shrimp. I'm not a hater. I'm not a lover. I will say, I went to the place that's supposed to have some of the best shrimp in the world, and I was very underwhelmed, actually. Yep. Bro, don't you lift? Had to tear because he couldn't pop.
Kind of smells like chicken balls.
Okay. The Hawaii surf shrimp trucks, they were good. Not as good as they look. Okay, I think. Ooh, yeah, it definitely smells fishy.
It tastes like chicken ball batter.
I don't know. It kind of smells like heavily breaded fried shrimp.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Dude, I like that.
It's subtle.
I like this a lot.
10, really?
For me,
Okay.
I can fuck with that.
Like a 6. I was really worried that it was gonna be like an overpowering taste, but it's almost a little too subtle for me.
You want something with a little more flavor?
I just need a little bit more something in there, but I can munch at this one. Yeah. Definitely don't kiss someone after them though, because I can taste them bit like the fishiness comes in like an aftertaste and it just lingers. Well, it's light. It's not bad. Gotta be pretty healthy. Like don't taste like that crazy about salt or anything. And then
9 grams of fat, not bad for every what?
bro, one half pack, 1 gram of protein.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, for a chip, it's actually quite good.
27 grams of carbs.
Yeah. With 1 gram of fiber, 4 grams of sugar.
Damn.
Yeah, like it's really not bad. Less than. Sorry, where's the sodium? Sodium's 23%. Honestly, though, for like a chip, again,
That might be in line pick with Falkland chips.
yeah, and it's actually pretty good. Maybe it's the rice thing.
The like tapioca starch,
Okay.
vegetable oil. Shrimp is listed as an ingredient, so I'm curious on how
They
they
probably boil it to make a flavor. You don't even sugar flavor.
salt. Okay. Egg.
Yeah, they probably boil the shrimp to make like a concentrate, essentially.
I would definitely buy more of these.
It's not bad. Not bad. I can't complain.
So I think it's my favorite one from everything we've had.
You know what? It was actually my favorite. Is our very first one. Those watermelon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was hilarious because Mark came over this week and we were playing
Baldur's Gate, not even.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. And we had made these characters. We were using some mods and stuff. So I became a Sung Jin Woo. And I was doing like the Shadow Monarch thing. It's super fun. If you haven't done it, try it. But he named himself Dong. So I named myself Ding. So we're Ding Dong. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember how it happened. It came up naturally, the Dong part, and then I named myself Ding to go with it. But and then I went upstairs to grab a drink, and on the way down, I brought him a watermelon thing. So we had 2 left still, and he I said, "This is pretty good." He starts looking at me. He's like, "Dong," because they're called dongs. Oh. So the Dong was eating dong.
Dong.
Ding also ate dong.
He popped tackles on the dong.
Yeah, it was really, really a lot of fun. I think, yeah, I would say that's probably my second though. But honestly, I don't know if there's one that I've like really, really enjoyed.
I didn't mind the duck tongue, I think it was. Or no, chicken feet I didn't care for. Duck tongue I like.
The chips, like the other 2 flavors of chips we did were like not bad, but I wouldn't eat the like
I'm not going to go out of my way to.
Yeah, if they're
one, I actually am going to go out of my way to buy.
Yeah, so I mean, there we go. Now, right into it. Let's go to Fire Force. Fire Force.
I don't want to do. All right,
that's fine. We don't want to do what?
I thought we were going to do Quuuux first, but
no, we always do that one last.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
So, Fire Force. We have episode 6 and 7 to review. So, Fire Force is honestly kicking off. I've liked every episode of this season of Fire Force so far. Obviously, it has an advantage over some of the other stuff we're watching because then it's the last season, so crazy stuff is happening. I mean, the Burns Voltage 5 thing was really awesome, looking like just like a jacked fire lion.
Yeah.
Like you played Yu-Gi-Oh, right, growing up? Do you ever remember like they had a set where it was like there was these elemental like guardians almost?
The heroes.
Not the heroes. There was like these guardians, and there was like this whole fire deck, and it was like basically like a fucking lion fire centaur crazy ass thing going on.
No.
Anyway, I think it's super freaking cool. It was really amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it gave me like a little bit of like Black Clover vibes here and there for some of the stuff, but
What sense?
I honestly don't know. It was more just a vibe.
Okay.
We had the dragon fight was the previous one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dragon fight was the previous one. What I will say is like there was a lot of flashback stuff. It was kind of interesting. There wasn't really any new moves though. Like
No, because everything's kind of concluding for this battle right now.
yeah,
Except for on
Benimaru.
no, his name is Moonlight Mask.
Yes, Moonlight Mask.
It was Benimaru. He wasn't there.
But I mean, by the end of the episode, we do know who's there. So,
What was the line that he was told to say again?
I suppose or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I was told if I say this, they won't know who it is.
Yeah.
Steven, he was like, why the fuck am I saying this?
But no, it was like I think it was kind of cool, but it was kind of the idea of like the old views versus the new. I was really hoping for more out of Burns' character, and honestly, like I knew he was not actually evil, but I was hoping that there was a larger point to him doing what he did than just like kind of giving up and passing on to the next generation. Like, if like the whole next generation thing, that's fine, whatever. Like that's throughout all anime.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If it kind of felt like he's just like, I'm just gonna let you beat the shit out of me while I strengthen you up a little bit. And I'm like, it was
kind of
cooler.
You kind of want like him versus somebody stronger than himself.
Benimaru
That dies that way.
I Moonlight Mask.
Yeah, who's Benny? Or like going against one of the doppelgangers of himself or something like that.
Yeah, and then just the being impaled by a doppelganger and then it running off. And I also feel like the whole doppelganger thing is kind of like, I wish they would have like peppered in more throughout the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna find Chevy.
now that's all the topic is about.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is this? What is the
Like
difference?
the last episode was like, you're here now, we'll investigate.
Yeah, it's just I don't know where that sits, but I like it. And then the mysterious Moonlight Mask rescue at the end.
Yeah,
That
it was
was
actually
fun.
Benimaru. But because they don't want to like get involved with the government,
Hating them.
yeah, so he had to put a mask on.
Can we also talk about like the flaw? And I get that his section is like all feudal Japan and stuff like that, but like, bro, the biggest problem in this day and age is spontaneous human combustion, and your entire place is still made out of wood. Come on, that's just reckless. That's just irresponsible. Make it look like wood if you want, but like, fuck.
That's a valid point, yeah. But I guess what else are they going to use? Concrete? They can't really do that either.
Why not?
I feel like with the tools, I guess with the technology they have, they could do that. Yeah, I don't mind.
100% they could. Like, it's more or less modern day.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they have subterranean trains, or did anyway.
Yeah, no, you're valid on that one.
So, like, how the fuck? Like, it's bad when not only your villains, but also your heroes are just slinging fire. Like, everyone's just slinging fire. And let's make this out of wood. This is a good idea. Like, what the fuck? Episode 7 was where it really started to come back, though. So, like, let's just jump straight to the big. Should we start with Benimaru or like the ending? Benimaru?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, sorry, Moonlight Mask. I'm gonna do that all day. Anyway, I thought that was really cool. Like the way he came in, we got to see that he is still OP. But that's the thing. I feel like we've never got to see Benimaru clash against somebody of like his caliber or anywhere close, which is why I was really hoping there's at least a bit of back and forth properly.
Like especially again when it's burning or even dragging at the end.
Well, I think that's gonna happen, but I can't decide if I want it to happen because I'm like, oh, it'll be such a cool fight, but at the same time, you want Arthur to slay the dragon, man.
That's his rival. Like that is his rival. Benny,
Arthur like that.
It's interesting to talk about an anime when you read the manga and not.
I know, and tell me.
So like for me, it's like, but
well,
yeah, no, I agree. I wish they showed a little more with him, but again, maybe they're saving it to be more impactful down the road.
They did a really cool thing in showing just how powerful he was and like how he can control heat within 4 meters of himself and all this other cool stuff. and then obviously saving everybody. But I think the coolest part, I almost feel like are they playing him out to be too OP? So I like that he had a little bit of a skirmish back and forth with Dragon, in the sense where you could see that his attacks weren't doing anything to Dragon. That was kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
I guess it's like the same as Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say with Gojo.
He's got to find a reason to get him out of this door. Him is Sukuna.
And even then, like,
Yeah.
So like they have to find a reason to get him out of the story to have any actual reason to have stakes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what they did there, and I was kind of cool with it because I was like, oh, they made the line, even you couldn't beat all of them at once by yourself. And I'm like, okay, there we go. We're adding some stakes in, so maybe they could like trap him, they could outnumber him. That makes sense. And then he's like, oh, well, maybe you could. I'm like, fuck, yeah, just took away my stakes. Like the next sentence later.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but it has been done before, and we'll see how they tackle it. Obviously, there's so many enemies, so you can't be at all places at the same time. So I think that's going to be the big one.
Yeah, but I mean, to a degree, you already have like I'm blanking on his name. Shinra,
the main character.
Yeah, Shinra. Okay, yeah, you already have Shinra and Arthur, who are like boosting and boosting and boosting. And I'm wondering if this is gonna. I'm assuming it's gonna be kind of like a Saiyan moment where it's like they have these big battles, they kind of win or kind of lose, but then they come back and whatever work they already did with Benimaru to get stronger, all of a sudden triggers and hits them tenfold, and now they're super ridiculously stronger than they were before.
Well, the thing is, there's more stronger bad guys than there are good guys. So the White Clads, there's a lot of pillars that have on their side.
Whereas we don't have a lot of strong guys.
Yeah, so they're a little outnumbered. They're super strong, but again, they're all in different places.
I just think this is going to be one of those situations where it's like, okay, they got their ass handed to them, but managed to accomplish their mission, and all of a sudden, again, Super Saiyan moment, they come back significantly stronger.
Or like in One Piece as well, that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing. I just use Super Saiyan as because like that's part of their race, right? Is that like if they serve a near death experience, they come back like double the strength that they were before. So I'm half expecting that. I really wish I got to see more of the Benimaru stuff.
Yeah,
it was just fun.
I agree.
But the ending, yeah, that was interesting. So with the sisters,
with
Hibana,
yeah. She goes back to the church where she grew up with Iris, and then so she found like a bunker at the bottom of the church with a bunch of texts, and
they were all plant and bug texts.
Yeah,
all of.
And then they started showing flashbacks of her eating this food and vegetables with all her sisters, and she was getting disgusted and wanted to throw up. So it made it seem like maybe she was fed bugs.
Well, so
those infernal bugs potentially.
Yeah. So my theory. So there's two things. I kind of like how they did the thing with the episode where it's like they kept replacing that same like limerick that they all went through, where it's like, oh, based on how they lived and their god and all this stuff. Like they all started getting named after flowers and yada 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 yada, and then how that came to fruition at the end. Again, I kind of wish like the doppelganger thing. I wish that was just peppered in a little bit more, because like we got when Hibana first was introduced, her and Iris, we got a little bit of their story there, but there was kind of just left, and there was not really like huge significance other than their personal relationship brought into it. Like there's no story significance. I think what she was alluding to. Oh, and then the one sister shows up, so it's assumed she's a doppelganger, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But
anyway, like raised them.
Yeah, the oldest sister.
Her name.
But I think they were alluding to, and like the point of naming the nuns after flowers was because you need flowers to cultivate and help bugs survive. So I think that they were being used as either food and or straight up just nesting to cultivate these infernal bugs.
It also makes you wonder what happened to the other sisters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. My guess is for whatever reason, Iris and Hibana, like, it didn't take or something. Like, I don't know. Like, for whatever reason, it didn't affect them. Or maybe it's dormant within them. And then a bunch of the other sisters, it did. And then these infernal bugs, they're basically being used as giant nests for these infernal bugs. Yeah, that was my guess. I have no idea, though.
And I'll be honest, that's something I can't remember exactly from the manga. So
Yeah, they ended the episode without telling you what her realization was. But it definitely had to do with bugs. Yeah, Sumire.
Sumire? That's it.
Yep.
I enjoyed the episode. It was cool. I'm like you said, I'm enjoying the season as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously not every episode can just be like badass fight after badass fight.
Yeah.
I need a little more depth.
Well, and this is one of those episodes where there was a little bit of cool stuff at the beginning, but for the most part, it was really about exploring the story and kind of forwarding the story.
Yeah.
Now, it's shonen, and shonen is known for like using fights to expand the story, but still, there has to be times where it's mostly just like, here's a text dump, like here's facts.
It will be interesting because obviously, so when Burns died, essentially the government's blaming it on Shinra and the Eighth, yeah. But everyone obviously knows that's not the case. So it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to avoid the government, but also fight the White Clads.
Yeah, actual facts. That's all I have to say about Fire Force. How are you feeling?
Yeah, same. Like I said, like I'm liking where it's going.
So let's dive into.
Honestly, I'll say this: it's the one weekly that we're tackling that I'm actually enjoying.
You don't like Vigilante?
Okay, never mind. Yeah,
I was gonna say we're only tackling 2 weeklies.
Yeah. Well, also like with
you were just watching it.
I was just watching a weekly, Witch Watch, and
yeah, bro.
When
speaking of, we'll probably just drop Witch Watch. That was
sucks.
Yeah, it was a little just.
And Windbreaker too. Like we might do.
I think we can revisit at some point. But take our time with it. Like even if we just revisit it with our like season recap episode, just watch by then. Now into Vigilante. I'm actually really liking Vigilante, and it's hilarious because I've become known for shitting on Popstep. And we had an episode on shitting on Popstep.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally the last episode we had, I was talking about how we have nothing from her. She's just kind of fucking there. And then now we finally have some backstory and some reason for Popstep. In episode 5, they kind of went through and explained that Pop, she got, well, we know why, crap, I'm forgetting his name. We know like Koichi became a hero, or like that he was going to go to a hero school, and then he didn't get to his trial or his interview test because he saved a kid, and the kid was Popstep, and he lost one of his limited edition sweaters, All Might sweaters, and then that was a sweater, the only one he was missing in the collection. And the kid he saved, he thought was a boy, but it was actually a young Pop. And, she goes back and forth, and we know why she's hanging around now, because she's constantly trying to find a way to let him know that he saved her and give the sweater back and all these things. So we did add a bit of an emotional layer to Popstep. We got a little bit more of what's going on. I'll be honest, it didn't redeem the character for me at all. But at least we have a reason now.
It doesn't bother me. She just hasn't done a whole lot yet.
Yeah, I don't know. She feels needless and kind of just creates yelling noise in the background between her and Knuckle Duster. Yeah. And I like Knuckle Duster, and he has a reason, and he has like all these good points to him.
Oh yeah, Knuckle Dusters.
She's just kind of there. Like this redeems her a little bit, but it's still just not really a character I care for at all. But I think it was really cool. I mean, I asked for it and I got it, so I really can't complain.
So that was episode what again?
It was episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that honestly really made me like her backstory actually made me feel more for Koichi than it did for her, to be honest. And seeing, especially when we had the episode where he was learning like the different ways to use his powers, and you're like, okay, well, a pro hero saw reason to essentially make him a sidekick without even going to a hero school, which means he definitely had the potential to become a hero. Because a lot of that, unfortunately, we know it changes later on post My Hero Academia, but this pre My Hero Academia. So right now, it's basically like, is your core good enough to be a hero?
Which we don't know yet.
Well, we kind of do, because he was offered a sidekick job. So we know that he, in theory, he should have been good enough.
Wait, who offered them a sidekick job again?
Ida's brother. What's his name now?
Was that like one hack y'all a sidekick job? Yeah, no, is that more like just offering to like help him?
I think it was a straight up job, like at first, and then he took it that way. Like
episode 4.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was a straight up job, because he was like showing him how to do things. He was like, oh, right, and like he's like, here's my number. Like, I'd like to I'm pretty sure he said I'd like to offer you a job, and then handed him the car, and it was like,
Well, I guess the other question is Ida's brother even a hero, or is he just...
no, he's a hero. So Ida's family, Ida comes from like a long line of heroes with some sort of turbo quirk.
I thought they were just part of like the police, which is separate from the hero.
I think they work closely with the police in high speed chases, but like his whole family comes from that. Like, so the way like Bakugo and Deku idolize All Might, for Ida, that was his older brother, was pro hero resemblance. That's the whole point of Stain attacking him too, right? Was Stain would go after pro heroes that he didn't think were true heroes.
Stain.
Which, holy hell. Sorry, before we get to that though, there was more news about them with Trigger Illuel. Yeah, there was more about them going with Trigger and how they're like testing out different levels and stuff like that. And what I actually really like about episode 5 the most was it started going into kind of the politics of the world a little bit, like what defines a villain. Because we have people that we're finding out that like, oh, if they have to use their quirk in a law-breaking way multiple times.
Yeah, if you're just breaking law guns, you're not a villain, and you don't go to like the villain penitentiary.
Yeah,
you get let out.
You basically just get,
which is weird,
like a drunk tank kind of thing.
Which is weird. You would think there would still be something to hold, like depending on the severity of their crime, that would hold them longer, similar to like this are modern day laws.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe there's...
Because obviously that dude created a lot of damage.
Maybe because of the way Trigger works and the fact that those kinds of things are more prevalent in that society, it's a bit more normal. And then with the way Trigger works, maybe there's like a plea of insanity or something like that. Like he couldn't really be held responsible for his actions under the influence of the drug or whatever.
Yeah, and obviously they can't go too in depth and all that. Otherwise, it's on just waste.
I mean, you say that, I would watch it.
I would too. But I imagine from their perspective, they don't want to spend too much time on the laws of everything.
Yeah, but I think the way that then goes into episode 6, where you start to get more Stain, which, by the way, I fucking knew it was Stain.
Yeah, when they like Blacklight hit saved, and there's some showed his tongue licking the blood. Yeah, and then they showed his eyes. You're like, okay, that has to be Stain.
Even the first time he showed up, I was like, this makes sense.
So they essentially in episode 5,
I think in episode 4 is when they actually brought it in.
Was it 4?
Yeah, because he shows up like right at the end.
Okay, yeah. So episode 4, they introduced Standal.
Yeah.
Essentially just a swordsman.
Yeah, just a ninja.
Yeah, ninja swordsman. Which obviously gives off hero Stain vibes right from the get-go. But then with the last episode 6, they actually go into him becoming Stain and even like chopping his nose off and making his natural fight.
Wild.
Yeah,
because for those who don't know, there actually is like a whole. I mean, I guess Daredevil actually went through it too, but there is a whole psychology around masks if they allow people to differentiate and pretend they're someone new, so that way they can do things they wouldn't normally do without ever feeling any remorse or anything towards it because they didn't do it. So if it allows them to become a different person in their head, whether that's the true self or the facade. And there's a whole study around it. It's super interesting. But Knuckle Duster basically bitch slaps Stain with that whole idea of psychology, which coming from Knuckle Duster is wild. But anyway, he goes to the one kid, the porcupine kid. He goes to like take him out, and then Koichi tries to help him, and then Standal is like, oh, what do I do? He's clearly doing something that a real hero would do in helping this person, but that person he's helping is a villain. Ultimately, he's like, you're helping evil, you are evil. And he's like going at him. And then Knuckle Duster jumps out of nowhere and just wrecks him.
Yeah, that's it.
And I kind of like that they did it the way they did it too, because I feel like if you let a battle between the two of them go on for a long time, there's no way it doesn't end up with both of them basically dead. But the way they did it was like, basically Knuckle Duster was like, you cross this line, you're getting wrecked. And then Stain goes to cross the line because he has to try, because, warrior v warrior, someone's there in front of you who can hold your own. You got to test it. Yeah. So he goes at it, but then Knuckle Duster steps across the line first, agreeing with Standal's like plan, and he didn't see it coming. So because of that, he just clocks the shit out of it.
He does kind of trick Standal. He lays the line there and he's like, if you come across this line, you're in my range and I'll have you.
Well, he never said you were in my range. Standall said you were in my range.
He kind of implied that he wasn't going to step over that line, and Knuckle Duster wasn't going to step over that line himself, but he never actually said it.
I don't.
And he does it, and it knocks him out. And he's like, "Hey, I didn't see it. I wasn't going to."
And because Standall was going at like so fast, and he didn't see it coming. It's like, well, I guess you haven't watched Naruto, but it's the whole you can't use the Chidori without a Sharingan thing because you're forced to move so fast that you're leaving yourself wide open, and it worked really well. And then he gives him a huge speech where he's like, "Yeah, these guys who think it's justice and all this." And he's like, "But really, they're just hiding behind a mask, and it allows them to do all these different things. You break their mask, they're nothing but babies and all this shit." And then he, as you said, he like takes the mask off, cuts his nose off like a savage as he goes away, and he slowly becomes Stain. He stabs the bee girl in the eye, and then you find out her eye must just be like a hive or something.
Wasn't there another instance where someone tried to like shoot her in the eye or something, and nothing?
Yeah, and they were
Like, I think a few
but
instances play.
it's just like wild, right? And you get to see the birth of Stain, and it was really cool. And you see Stain realize that he's like, the problem isn't the villains. The problem is the people who aren't real heroes. And this whole thing it's so cool.
Have you read the My Hero manga?
My Hero or Vigilante?
My Hero.
Yes, I've read it.
So have they animated?
There's some post stuff I'm not actually caught up on.
Have they animated the stuff where essentially Stain helps out All Might?
Yeah, they did.
All right. So like, end of the day, Stain's one of my favorite characters.
Because Stain is sick as fuck.
Because obviously he is an anti-hero. He means well at the end of the day, but his actions don't come across as that. But like near the end, he's like actually trying to like coach All Might into not giving up and doing what he was meant to do.
Well,
when he doesn't have his powers.
I almost wish that Vigilante, like it's prequel, obviously, but for the purpose of Stain alone, I almost wish that we had seen some of this like just before would have been perfect, or like around when the Stain arc was happening. Simply because the Stain arc in My Hero Academia is so cool, such a big moment. That's like one of the most popular parts that is like peak height of My Hero. And as cool as all of that is, and the way it helps Tenya and you understand, and you get all this, the one thing that never felt justified to me about the Stain arc was his following after. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like that one dude, the turtle, not the turtle.
No,
lizards, right?
Yeah. The fact that they Spinner.
I know, that's it.
The fact that like all of these people after this one instance start joining him, and even that one instance, like what the media would have given out was just like so small and not crazy. So it was just like, how does A equal B? Doesn't make sense. But with this, you now know, and he was even saying that like basically from that point on, he was still doing stuff. It was just in the shadows and not publicized. So there would have been rumors. There would have been all these things about it. So it makes sense how, you had these people who were probably already kind of aware and keeping an eye on him. And then you get that big trigger point that happens in My Hero. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm really enjoying with the show. Was definitely giving a little more in-depth look at all these other characters that we don't really get to see a lot of. Like, for example, like Tensei, Dao, Stan.
I really hope that you remember like the guys who ruined the training camp. Like you got the muscle guy, you have
you didn't even have those.
I hope they come into those too. That would be so cool. And like I said, I really the fucking cherry on top for me is if they have stuff happening in and around the All Might and Makia fight. That like wrecks All Might.
Oh yeah.
Like I want stuff around that. Like in my mind, that's roughly when it should end.
I thought it was kind of cool that scene with the Yakuza, and they had their powers, and they kind of had some like shoutouts to call-outs to like other heroes and villains and other comic books and whatnot. So, like there's the one dude with like, the metal arm that made him look like Bucky. There's the one like the boss who like turns into stone, like the dude from Invincible. I had little things like that. Which was like, this reminds me of.
They do a fantastic job of like little shadowing stuff like that. I honestly don't know where episode 7 is going to go, but I'm very interested in what's going to happen, and I kind of just like taking the ride. I think we both agree though, where this show is the best for us is having already watched My Hero and seeing like, again, just being able to flesh out these moments that make more sense, right?
I don't think you would enjoy it as much if you didn't watch My Hero
Well,
first.
I agree, and like Tensei is a good example actually too, because we just talked about like you didn't even realize he was an actual hero, right? So we never got a chance to become attached to that character. So when he dies or when he gets crippled, basically, he like you don't really care. Like you care about Ida and his response to it. You don't care about Tensei
After himself, you know.
But now you're getting to see all the good things he did and all the ways he helped and maneuvered as a pro hero. And it's like, oh shit, that means so much more now, right?
Yeah, you can do a lot with that universe. I think you were saying that the last episode.
Oh, you could do so much. It's such a good mix, like of taking the thing that's so popular and has been on and off, but really popular in the last 60, 70 years. Almost actually we're nearing 100 years of superheroes. And then mixing it with like the shonen side of things that the Eastern culture brings in.
I will say it's a shame that it did have a bit of a falling off for people.
There was just too long between seasons.
Yeah, right. I understand why people lost interest. There's too much of the slice of life bullshit in between.
Yeah.
They definitely dragged the series on a little too much, but that's what's to be expected with something serialized like that. Like you want to get as many volumes out as you can for money purposes, but it has a lot of really cool moments within the series. So, and I know like a couple of my friends, I know Mark as well, they all fallen off of it. That's like, man, like I want you to catch up and see actually what happened.
Yeah,
because it is kind of cool.
I never fell off the manga, and I think that's where you and I probably both have the benefit. Is a lot of people only watch the anime, but because we both read the manga, like we've kind of got to keep going. You get to, the fluffy parts also go a little faster. Go by.
That's true. Of my buddies who I'm talking about, they've read the manga too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a really big opportunity, and in terms of filler, it's one of those where, yeah, what you're saying is true. It's kind of like a necessary evil to a degree. And you either get these long breaks where you get nothing, or you get filler. And I've talked about it before. I'm okay with filler. I just want filler to make sense. Like be narrative, flesh out the character some way. I don't need it to be like, oh, hard canon, this matters. But
that rock band
use it as an opportunity. I'm even okay with that one a little bit, just because it took but it took a character that we don't get a lot of, and it kind of flushed them out a little bit.
True.
It didn't teach us something new, but it let us see it more and be more aware of it. And that's the kind of thing I'm okay with. Like take any character, and just use the filler as an opportunity to show me more of their personality or how it shines in different lights or challenges them and stuff like that. And don't give me just like, we're going to go on a fucking treasure hunt or some stupid ass shit like that. Like keep it driven by character, and I'm cool with filler. Like I might skip it and I might not like it, but I'm cool with it because at least it in some way develops a story rather than just wastes my time.
No, I agree.
Like Naruto is actually the best example because Naruto is filler-ruto, like so much fucking filler. I'm pretty sure like at least 30-40% of the damn show is filler.
Bleach had a lot of filler too.
But and it's
in the anime. I don't know about the manga. Not so much in the manga, more in the anime.
That's pretty typical. Usually manga doesn't have a whole lot of filler, if any. Naruto manga is not my favorite. My favorite manga so far is Kenichi Earth's Mightiest Disciple. But anime, I don't actually know, and we'll have to do that at some point. I actually don't know what I consider my favorite anime. However, hey, Snide.
Oh, hello. How are you?
But I would say that if you took all the filler out of Naruto, there's a fair bet that it would be my favorite.
If only there was a way to get her on the shot. Really get something
you want to figure out.
I don't want to let it roll right now.
But yeah, I mean, now it's 2 frames per second, my friend. What frames you got for your second?
I'll do mine second because it's going to tie into what we're going to get into next.
Yeah, so my 2 frames per second, honestly, I'm just going to use I've been getting really bad for only doing good frames per second, but we're watching so much stuff that's like new.
I've got a bad one.
Okay, good, because I don't right now. Not one that stood out like blatantly. My 2 frames per second is going to be in Moonrise, and it's just, again, I talked about it more last time, but just the depth of visuals they use sometimes, where it's like for this one, like the opening scene, when he's whistling Moon River or humming Moon River, and you see like the train traveling and stuff, like just
I don't need it with that. Wait, is the whole season done?
I think so. It's 18 episodes.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm actually falling off of it. I'm like getting less and less interested in it as it goes, but it got some stuff. It's definitely got some really good talking points. How about you?
My 2 frames will be what we're about to talk about next is Gundam
GQuuux.
overall animation of the show is all right. It's different style. They have some of that newer CGI stuff, the Gundams, and then the overall character design reminds me of Teen Titans.
Go!
Yeah. So again, different style, but again, my problem's not with that. My problem is with the Gundam designs.
Yeah, I almost put that too. It's like there's
Why do they have fish eyes? Why is there 2 eyes here, 2 eyes here?
Well, it's also just,
And then some have a normal 2 eyes, and then just the overall
they seem very shallow. Like the art of them seems very
them
to it, which is hilarious because I was just complimenting the depth of another show. But
yeah, it just seems kind of lazy, and I don't know, it's just not doing it for me at all. And that's the only thing that's really killing it for me. There's other overall the depth of the show is not that great.
I feel like it hasn't even started yet. Let's just segue right into Gundam GQuuux real quick. So let me pull up the thing here. Okay, so Amate is a high school student living peacefully in a space colony floating in outer space. A space colony floating in outer space. That's fun. Anyway, when she meets a war refugee named Nayan, Amate is drawn into illegal mobile suit dueling sport known as clan battle. Under the entry name Maku, she throws herself into fierce battle day after day, piloting the GQuuux. Then an unidentified Gundam mobile suit pursued by both the Space Force and the police steered before her, along with its pilot, a boy named Shuji. Now the world is about to enter a new era. So, again haven't really watched any Gundam. I'm sure I've seen some at some point, but like that whole style of things, we got like Gurren Lagann. I don't even know if that would count, but like that kind of thing where there's these giant fighting mechanical suits and stuff. Like I've seen little bits of it. Some of them I like, some of them I'm like, what the? But I'm not really into Gundam all that much. And I feel like you told me, you're like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be the best intro to Gundam for you. And I kind of have to agree because I feel like I can't properly judge it. It almost feels like it's trying to keep it's trying to keep a hold of like a more adult, mature audience, but at the same time be for kids. And it's kind of screwing with me that way. But also, like, there just seems to be a lot of things where you're like thrown into the middle of it. And I don't know if it's because it's like relating to previous Gundam shows or we saw that there might be a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I searched it, there was something that came up saying Gundam GQuuux beginning. Yeah. So I'm assuming either that was released first as a movie or a short series, or maybe I'll just search it up.
I also think they just took too long to figure out like the whole flashback scenario. Where they're showing like the history of like the Red Gundam and all this stuff. I don't know. I feel like the show hasn't even started yet, to be honest.
It's like the White Gundam and Red Gundam look the exact same, just different colors.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense because they built the one based off the other, but
like you have all these other Gundam series where they're definitely a lot more creative.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the one thing I do like about the series, and again, you wouldn't be familiar, but like they have some callbacks to like Char, who's in the original series.
Well, there's the witch lady too. Like, wasn't there like Gundam something?
Yeah, Witch of Mercury was the last.
Was that a girl
series? Yeah,
like the purple hair girl.
She wasn't in it.
Okay, no, they called her the witch and stuff. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure.
I thought it might have some connection, but I don't think so.
I have no idea.
And then just with some of the other Gundam designs are similar to what they've done previously, but no, I wouldn't say Gundam. They have some mobile suits in there that aren't Gundams, which look exactly like the older ones from other series, where the Gundams in here just look trash.
I think, like, and here's the other point, like, it's trying to build these super in-depth relations, and I genuinely feel like the show hasn't started yet, so this is one that I'm okay, even though I'm not really caring for it, I'm okay giving it a second try and staying with it a little bit longer, because it feels like it's just starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, we're actually going to be moving the plot. Like, it feels like this clan battle thing was all just like a forward in a book.
So beginning is a movie, but it's just the first 3 episodes.
So yeah, unimportant then. Yeah. So yeah, with the GQuuux stuff, I'm getting FLCL vibes. I don't know if anyone's watched that. There's multiple versions, but the original version especially is like everyone's crazy about. Like, oh, it's so amazing, it's so artistic. It's only a few episodes. I hate it. That is probably one of my least. FLCL. You have to watch the original one though. It's like 4 episodes or something. It's not a long watch. Basically, they try to jam pack it with so much crap and try to make it like so deep, but like very subdued, And I think it was like the writer also made Neon Genesis Evangelion, I think too, or it was something like that, like one that was like very, very, very good, had all this depth to it. I'm pretty sure it's Neon Genesis. Anyway, and then FLCL is just like, it's almost like constantly trying to make you think that everything is super deep, has all this meaning and is super important, but like at the same time, nothing matters. Like, and this kind of with the relationships between the kids, especially, it just constantly gave me this vibe of like, you're trying really hard to seem deep and important. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, stop bigging yourself up like that. Like, just let it be what it is. I'm like, these kids just met each other, and like the only relation you could really argue between them is that they all felt lost in some capacity, and now they have each other, which cool, whatever. But that's not going to be some like grandiose, deep, intricate thing. Or you have, what do they call it? The Hikari or no, the space.
Oh, I can't remember.
So basically with the Gundams, there's certain people have this ability to basically maneuver a Gundam without actually using the controls. They can just kind of do it on their mind and feelings. And
yeah, that's just kind of bullshit.
And the kid, what is his name? Shinra? No, not
Shinra. The girl?
Or no, the guy, the Shuji. The Shuji is like, they just introduced there's two warring like a state and company essentially, and they just showed that one of them has been working on these kids to kind of like create these pilots that can do it. And I'm pretty sure Shuji's just like an escapee from that. He was probably like their trial star or something. And like stole the Mobile Suit Red Gundam on his way out or something like that.
There is another Gundam series that kind of tackles that topic, but again, they do a much better job with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what this series is trying to do, is trying to take other Gundam series
and tie them together.
But like, just take the premise of all of them and put it together, which, I don't know. I don't think they're executing on it. It's just random.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it has the potential to actually get to some real story that's decent. But I feel like right now it's taking itself way too seriously. It's trying to be way too artsy, and it's just taking too long to get to the actual point. Like, I literally feel like the last episode, what was it, 6?
I didn't watch that last one.
Okay. The last episode, do you mind if I spoil a little bit here for you? Okay. So yeah, episode 6, they start to get to the point where it's like, okay, they're going into the last clan battle. They're bringing in these other situations, like they're bringing in that other company, that other pilot. They're getting ready to separate the children from the clan battle stuff and more to like the space opera kind of stuff. So I'm like, I feel like it's just now getting ready to actually get started. Like, this whole clan battle thing just feels like a prequel, essentially, like a setup. And then now they're going to take these pilots and they're going to be like, oh, look how well these pilots look. And whatever the story's actually supposed to be will actually finally start.
And again, they took that whole like clan battle thing from Witch of Mercury. They did something similar with that. Which again, it's cool to see Gundams fighting, but just like a random fight that really has no stakes doesn't really mean all that much to me.
Well, to be honest, I don't think I've seen any really cool fights either.
Like, yeah, it's not even that cool. I think they'll show a flash at the end where the last scene where they're fighting the witch.
Yeah.
And then they kill her, essentially.
Yeah, like her whole idea of like roping around them and shit.
Which is also weird. It's kind of offer out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think, I'm probably not I'm not even a huge like firearms guy. Like, I'm a hand-to-hand combat guy through and through. You can throw in some like magic and stuff here and there, but that's about as far as I go. So Mobile Suit Gundam in that sense is so far out of my like purview of the kind of combat I like. But I've watched things like Gurren Lagann, I've watched things that do this before, and I enjoy it quite a lot. So far, none of this. Like, I haven't cared. I was like, I can't honestly remember any of the fights. I remember the witch, and I remember the fact that Jetsui's like using the rope to trigger around people and stuff. That's about it.
I feel like with Gundam, part of the reason why the fights are cool is because you have cool looking Gundams doing it too.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
When you have these lame ass Gundams fighting, it's like, man, like, I don't want to watch this. It doesn't have me interested.
Let's even go back to like being kids, like Power Rangers, man. I never cared when they brought the Zords out.
Oh,
like, it's cool for like a second.
Yeah, as a kid, I love that shit.
Yeah, it was cool for like a second.
Again, like,
I just don't care. There's just a disconnect for me.
Obviously, Gundam Wing would probably be the one I recommend the most. The original series is really good too, but I would say that one's a little more on the political side of things.
That's another good example. Is Code Geass.
I need to watch that. I've heard.
You ever watched it?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's very like geopolitical.
Yeah,
does use like mechs.
Yeah, for sure. And I know they're they're always compared against each other.
Really?
Gundam and Code Geass, yeah.
I mean, GQuuux, I'm pretty sure they're coming out with a new one.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's pretty popular.
I mean, it's been a while, but
Iron-Blooded Orphans is the other one I really like.
I've heard a lot about that one.
Yeah.
I've heard, and Gundam Wing, obviously.
Yeah, and then Gundam. So
Why are we going to Japan, bro?
I wish soon.
Let's do it.
I
need a trip.
Gundam Seed. I don't think I've watched. I remember watching a bit of it. I haven't fully caught up. There's a lot though, because they're still releasing Gundam Seed stuff.
Oh shit.
Like there's a new movie that dropped either beginning of this year or late last year.
I'm so bad at keeping up with movies for anime. I'll be honest. I've watched
unless it's like tied in with what's actually going on currently.
Well, I think growing up there was just I didn't really have access to watch any of the movies, but on the other side of that is I'm just so used to the movies being completely standalone from the fucking series that I just don't care.
Yeah. Like the My Hero movies, again, we talked about this already. Like, they're all right. They're nothing special. There's some cool moments, but you can definitely go without watching them. And like the weird thing with the My Hero, they are considered canon. Like it's not said that they're not canon.
Yeah. But they're so inconsequential. And that's kind of what we was getting at before, where it's like My Hero has this world where it's like you could almost believe someone ruining half a city block and then getting off the next day, because they've built this like insane world where even more like, because think of like Marvel, think of like DC, where they're used to all these construction crews, and like Marvel and DC both have like their own like cleanup crews in universe to kind of make fun of the fact that everything's always getting destroyed. But in the My Hero universe, everyone has a quirk. So like think about like just how commonplace it would be.
Well,
like
everyone, but most.
Yeah. But like think how commonplace that stuff is in like New York City of Marvel, right?
True.
Let alone a place where 80-90% of the population has some sort of power. So
yeah,
like they've just created a world in which like, yeah, you can have 3 movies where the entire world is always destroyed and then saved by small children, and then no one recognizing it later. And it's kind of be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because it's like just every second is something so grandiose.
But yeah, I guess in terms of power level for GQuuux,
I have to give it like a 3,500 right now.
I was gonna give it a 3,000.
Yeah, like I see potential for that to grow a lot more, because I genuinely think the story hasn't even really started yet. But it's what kills it the most for me and makes me not want to give it a chance is I hate when shit takes themselves way too seriously and tries way too hard to be deeper than it is.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to use overly artistic expression to describe some deeper meaning. And if in my opinion, doing that or the attempt of doing that is all about biggery, and it also takes away from the actual meaning you're trying to get across.
You know what scene threw me off? That scene where it's like the 3 of them relying on the Gundam.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the one girl takes off her clothes. And then the other girl seems like she's pressured to take off her clothes because she likes the dude.
Are you ready for this? Okay, so I can see you.
No,
so they're all laying there, and it's because it's showing this self-expression of how she just wanted to feel the Gundam the way he did. To feel closer to him, she wanted to get as close to the Gundam as possible. So she took off her clothes so she could feel the cold metal against her chest, so she could connect to the Gundam as closely as he could, and they could be a little bit closer. And then the other girl, it showed the pressures that youth are under to feel like they have to do these sexual things or these things that others are doing it, so that they have to do it too. And it shows that pressure that we get on a societal level amongst our peers, even when it's unintentional or unspoken. And then through that, it's like I could just sit here and do that shit for days. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like when you throw random ass shit in there that is completely fucking unnecessary just for people to overread into it. Like, come on, man. I went to fucking theater school. I know what this is like.
It almost seems like they have a group of people in that room and they're asking everybody, what do you want to see in the show? And everyone wrote down some things. Well, we're going to include it all. A little bit here, extra a little bit there, but it won't make any sense.
Yeah, you got to watch FLCL. It's like 4 episodes. Okay, that's shit. In my opinion, I know so many people love it and are like, oh my god, it's so artistic. There's so much like sexual innuendo and like these deep things of like coming of age and all this other. Shut the fuck up. Like
unless you're actually showing anime boobies.
So this is the guy who hasn't watched Naruto with Tsunade. Anyway, but it's one of those where I appreciate when that kind of depth and imagery is put in well, but I've also not only witnessed but been a part of people trying to kind of just overdo it. Like the term I remember, and I'll never forget. I was told by somebody close once. He's like, I don't like, I don't think artsy fartsy people should make artsy things for other artsy fartsy people. And that's kind of what it feels like. It's like people trying to kind of just like creatively jerk themselves off in front of each other and pass around the same no, like
Yeah, I
it's
did get that vibe from it.
trying to make it artsy shouldn't be a thing. You just express it the best way you know how, and it might be artsy.
It's also like I'm trying to get back into music and got my band going again. And I feel like with something like music, something movies, anything creative, it's hard. Yeah, you can have inputs, but I think there always has to be someone who takes control for every.
That's how this
truly
runs,
successful.
even.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's not going to have the same vibes, and then the people who are liking one vibe, they hear the rest of it, then are like, wait, this is not why I'm listening to this, or this is not why I'm watching this, and so, and this show is not staying true to that. Again, it just seems like there's a bunch of ideas that they're trying to tackle, and it's not landing.
Yeah, it doesn't know what it is, and it's just like kind of constantly doing things for the sake of trying to be special, and it's like, just, the more you try to be that guy, the less that guy you're gonna be.
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I mean that covers everything I've got here. So I think we've concluded that we're not going to continue with Witch Watch. I might at some point watch a couple more episodes, just skip it. I mean, it's skipped like episode 20 or something when it comes out, and just see what happens, just to give it a try. But I don't think so.
I definitely want you to watch. We talked about this a few times. Watch season 2 of Oshinoko.
Oh yeah, I definitely got to watch that.
Good.
I got to get caught up on some of this stuff, but 100%. Next week we are going to be tackling Yaiba Samurai Legend. I did watch the first episode or two.
Okay, I haven't even checked the Google Doc yet.
Think like slice of life comedy action. It gives hard Dragon Ball, like OG Dragon Ball vibes. Yeah, it's right here. It's on Netflix. It gives really, really heavy Dragon Ball vibes from the first little bit I saw. So I think it'll be fun. I'm actually quite looking forward to it, especially because I've been watching Moonrise, which tries to be a little bit more of like a thinker and a little bit political. Well, really political. So then we have Fire Force and we have Vigilante, which as much as they're fun, they also have like their deeper thought sides. So this one's kind of just like jokes, seemingly. So I'm pretty down for it.
Okay.
I will miss the references from Witch Watch, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that was the only. But again, like, how
is the only redeeming trait?
Why he do that?
I kind of want to find out, but I don't care enough to actually watch
chapters of that shit.
I know, I saw it on Shotted. Well, with that, we'll see you next week. We'll talk about some samurai.
Later.